Hey, what up, gang? It's your boy Hood back with another one. Today we making a hard, aggressive Baton Rouge type beat for artists like NBA Youngboy, Quando Rondo, Jada Youngin, rest in peace, or any other artist known for the southern Baton Rouge sound. Baton Rouge, deep in the dirty, is just a short drive up Interstate 10 from Louisiana's largest city, New Orleans. Baton Rouge is the hometown for legendary artists like Boozy Badass, Webby, Kevin Gates, Fredo Bang, and NBA Youngboy. The Baton Rouge sound is shaped by the musical influences that prevail in the South. Going to church on Sunday morning is a huge part of the lives of many who call the South home. So you see gospel music's influences in the music of today's popular rap artists coming out of Baton Rouge and all over the South. Also blues and jazz, both genres of black music born in the South early last century, all have one very distinct thing in common: live instrumentation. The melodic elements of NBA Youngboy type beats usually serve to create an emotional, soulful vibe for the song. Youngboy's lyrics are emotional, melancholy, and dramatic. He bears his soul in his music and gives glimpses of his authenticity to his listeners, showing them an uncommon sense of vulnerability when it comes to his life and his experiences in the streets. Similar to Rod Wave type beats, emotional piano chord progressions and top melodies are a staple in Youngboy's music. The same goes for guitar melodies. NBA Youngboy type beats can also include organs, brass horns, and e-pianos, commonly used in beats produced by artists coming out of the South. Producers like Buddha Blessed, Drum Dummy, Cash Money AP, and others all use very specific instruments and techniques to create the sound that we're going to try to replicate today. But first, do me a favor and hit the like button and subscribe if you aren't already. Yeah, and hit that notification bell so you can get updated whenever new content drops. Alright, first up, the most important thing in all beat making is to make sure you got the right sound selection. Sound selection is key when it comes to making Baton Rouge type beats, or really any type of beat. And what's the most effective way to find the right sounds? Drum roll, please. A reference track. Listen to the artists that have the style of production or vibe you're going for. So listen to popular artists like the ones I mentioned earlier: NBA Youngboy, Quando Rondo, Jada Youngin, Kevin Gates. And then choose a specific song that you vibe with. And then using a website like TuneBat, shout out TuneBat, using the key and BPM finder function, you can learn important information about the song, all of which will help in replicating the vibe of your reference track. If you want to learn more about TuneBat and its value to the production process and how I use it, let me know in the comments and I'll make a video all about it. Okay, so NBA Youngboy type beats have a pretty wide range of BPMs that can work. Anything from 120 BPM to 160-ish, but feel free to experiment. They're all great tempos for this style of production. NBA Youngboy beats are made mostly in minor keys, A minor and F minor being the most common in his music. Okay, so once again, in the Baton Rouge style of production, some common instruments you'll find being used are pianos, organs, acoustic and electric guitars, e-pianos, brass, and other live instruments. Now, I don't play instruments very well. I'm still learning the keys and the acoustic guitar, but there are many quality VSTs out there that do a great job of replicating the sound of live instruments that don't require the investment in those instruments or the time it takes to learn to become proficient at playing them. You know what I'm saying? So there's several FL Studio native plugins, free plugins, and third-party plugins that replicate the sound quality of live instruments really well. Some I use most often are Keyscape, Nexus 3, Expand, Purity, and there's a really good free plugin called BBC Symphony Orchestra, which has strings and horns, and it's extremely good for a free plugin, or really any plugin for that matter. All right, so the drums in NBA Youngboy type beats, pretty typical trap drum sounds. like you'd find in most mainstream rap production. But what makes NBA Youngboy songs unique is that he doesn't always solely rely on the popular 808 sound like you hear in most other styles. Most of his songs have a bass guitar, and my favorite bass guitar is the Contact bass plugin called Scarby Rickenbacker Bass. I'd also recommend going and searching online for drum kits, maybe on Reddit or other places like that, YouTube, looking for specific drum kits for that Baton Rouge sound, and you'll be able to find all the perks and other specific sounds, wah guitars, and the other sounds that are crucial to making an authentic sounding Baton Rouge type beat. Alright, I went and got a piano from Nexus 3 called a piano concert at 165 beats a minute in the key of C minor. I wrote the bass notes first, and then I duplicated the bass notes and brought them down a couple octaves in order to thicken it up, and this is what it sounds like. Then in the lower octave, to add some rhythm, I added a few notes at C, and basically just to give the bass line a little bit more rhythm and make it a little bit more interesting. Then I went and got an EQ and added a high pass filter in order to make room for my 808 and my bass when I add it. Then I went back to Nexus 3 and I got what's called Dead Man Organ, and I made this melody. Then I went back to Nexus 3 again and I got what's called Gospel Organ, and I basically just pasted the same pattern over into the new instrument, and this is how it sounds. Then I went and got a wah guitar from E-Duck's wah wah guitar pack, and I came up with this here. Super important, don't forget to tune your samples in your instruments. You can go into the step sequencer and then click on the sample, right click the waveform when the sampler window opens, and then open that sample in Edison. Then if you right click on the waveform in Edison, you'll see detect pitch regions as an option, and then you click on that, and then markers will appear that'll tell you what the sample's pitch is, and in this case it's a D. Then I went back and I grabbed another wah guitar called Wah Wah Soul Guitar 2. And after I tuned the sample, I placed the root note C at the end of the second bar. Alright, next then I went and grabbed a Vox. It's called High Funk. It sounds a lot like an ad-lib from the one and only Godfather of Soul, James Brown. Again, make sure you tune your instruments. I tuned the Vox so it's not out of key. Then I went to Lunch 77 Southside Drum Kit, and I got my 808. I copied and pasted the bass notes from my melody into the 808 pattern and created a bouncy 808 pattern. To start, the bass line is pretty simple. I basically just added the root and the sixth, which if you were to transpose it down one octave, then you'll see that it's the sixth of the scale of C minor. Basically, to make my bass line or my 808 pattern more unique, I use octave jumps, and I went between a lower octave of the root and then up one octave. Then I went back to Lunch 77 Southside drum kit, and I got a clap, and I added it on the 3 and the 7 count. Then I went back to Lunch 77 Southside drum kit, and I got a rim shot. Then I went back to Nexus 3 again, and I duplicated a piano concert preset, and then I beefed up the chords by just adding some more layers. Got a hi-hat, and I added my hi-hat like this. Next, I went to Contact, and I grabbed a bass guitar, Scarby Rickenbacker bass, and then I came up with a bass line just to add some variety to the bass line and be able to add a change up here and there as I arrange the beat. Then I went back to Chambers Undeniable Drum Kit Volume 2, and I got a laser and I added it, and it sounds like this. Then I went back to Chambers Undeniable Drum Kit Volume 2, and I got cowbell. Don't forget, tune your instruments. I went in and I tuned my cowbell so it's not out of key. All right, well, that's it. That's how you make a hard NBA Youngboy type beat, Baton Rouge style production. This is what the beat sounds like after I finish mixing and arranging. I hope you enjoy it. Again, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.